Are you curious about what type of house you can buy for $400,000 in Minneapolis compared to what you can buy in the surrounding suburbs like Lakeville, Apple Valley, Edina, Maple Grove, etc.? Well, we're going to break down the differences and really dive into the size, the square footage, the location, the year it was built, the amenities, the neighborhoods. We're going to break that all down in this video today so you can determine what is the best fit for you, whether it makes sense to buy in the suburbs or whether it makes sense to buy in Minneapolis, so you can see the differences. I'm Arnie Johansson. I'm a local realtor here in the Minneapolis metro area. I've been a licensed real estate broker for 11 years, and I've helped over 300 families buy and sell their houses in the Minneapolis metro area. I'm also a licensed builder, so I've built houses and I've remodeled houses. So I'll also give you my opinion on the construction and the costs of any repairs or anything I see with regards to construction. I just look at real estate and houses from both angles because I have been in construction pretty much my whole life. So let's get into it. So this is the MLS, and I'm going to break down basically the Minneapolis market. And so what I did here was I just did a search for houses between 399 and 400 that are active and that have no contingencies. So that means that they're not under contract, they are available. So the interesting thing is there's 227 houses available. And if I just eliminate that, there's 4,961 houses available at every price range. So we said 399 to 400 or 400, let's just do 425. And the reason I did that, so 227, let me just go back. I want to show you this. So the reason I picked this price range is because if you look at the Twin Cities region, the median price is 376. So the median price is about 400,000. So that's the average. Now we know there's 4,900 houses available for sale, but if we go to how many houses that are actually at about the median, let's go down to 375 because that's what it was. Just kind of do a price range. 300 to $400,000. So that's 285 houses out of 4,900. So that's 5% of the market, which is interesting. Only 5% of the market is between 3 and 400,000. If we take that away, we look at the results, we look at the statistics, what does that say to us? It's loading. 415. So you'd think there'd be more. Single family homes because there's a lot of townhouses. Look at that. If you just eliminate all the townhouses and single family homes or all the condos and the townhouses, you have 2,964. So let's go 375 to 400. We have 186 houses, single family homes in this area at that price range. So that's not a lot. It's really not a lot of houses to choose from. So let's just go in. Like the first thing I want to look at, the first thing I always look at is what year was the house built because that's going to tell you a lot about the construction. So let's look at these houses. 2000, where can you get a brand new house at this price range? Well, you can get a brand new one in Cottage Grove, Delano, Rosemount. There's not a lot of options. There's only a few options out of 168. So this is brand new It's in Cottage Grove. It's 399, and there aren't any restrictions on it. I looked to see if there's anything like in the land trust, if it's like a land trust. That's pretty nice actually. For 399, you get a brand new house. But there's only like one of these available. It's not like there's dozens and dozens of these. Now, as a licensed builder and having built and remodeled dozens of houses, this house is a very efficient house. You know, the garage is attached, so they save money there. They're doing vinyl siding. They're doing a lower price LVP siding. Like the kitchen island isn't big. They're using a thinner granite or quartz on the countertops, and they're using pretty much stock cabinets. The other thing I noticed is this is popular. I've seen are these electric fireplaces versus gas. I really don't like those because they don't give off the radiant heat that a gas stove gives off. You're going to get a lot more heat in the house. It's going to be a lot more efficient than an electric one. But I mean, they're probably doing that to save costs. The carpet is going to be a lower grade carpet. It's not going to be super expensive. You know, you have regular sheetrock. Sheetrock is generally sheetrock, and you got the sprayed popcorn ceilings. You got your basic trim, door trim, and window trim. So the floors, you see, this is like a vinyl. It's not like actual tile. It's more like a stick down, but it's brand new. Nobody's ever used it before. And with a brand new house, you get a 1 year warranty on everything, a 2 year warranty on the mechanicals, and a 10-year warranty on the foundations. So there's one house available in Cottage Grove. Look like there's one house available in all of Cottage Grove that's brand new. So now let's go down with the years they were built. So as you go down, let's see, you got some stuff built in the 2000s, but you know, notice what you're not seeing. You're not seeing any houses in Minneapolis. You have this one right here for 385 that was built in 2004, but that's it. And that's because most of the houses in Minneapolis were built in between 1880 and 1950. So it's kind of like what you're not seeing in these areas versus like what you are seeing. So let's just go and look at what year the houses were built. And the reason I focus on that, like I said, is because that's going to determine the build. And the older the house is, a lot of times the more work it needs. Or, you know, there's just a different construction methods that were used in the 1910 versus, you know, 1950 or 1970. And so that's a factor because if you have to spend money on repairs, then you have to factor that into the price. So Bloomington, you have all these houses in Bloomington, and these were built in 85, 77, 65, 63, 56. And those generally, like this one, this is a split entry. It was built in 1977. I actually like split entries. They're efficient design. They're lower priced because um, the basement foundation, it's not a full foundation. It's really a slab with 4 foot frost walls, and that saves money because you don't have to dig down 10 feet, um, but you're still getting that lookout basement. Yeah, looks like it has. I'm not sure if those floors are real hardwood. No, that's this. So this is the lower level. The nice thing about the split though is that you do look out. You're not underground completely. So I do like those splits. Some people don't like the split because there are more stairs, but it's efficient design. See, when you walk in, you either go up or you go down. So I've never owned a split. Actually, I did own one split that I remodeled in South St. Paul. Um, but this looks like this has an attached garage that you're coming out from the basement and you're coming up into the garage, which is nice. So I like those houses. I like Bloomington for that reason because you're not going to be able to get a split really in Minneapolis. There's not a lot of split entries because those were built, you know, like I said, most of the houses that were built in Minneapolis were built prior to, 1950, and most of the splits started when they were in the 1970s. And you need a wider parcel because if you see how wide this is, let's just look at this parcel. This parcel is 74 feet wide, and you see the garage is attached. So your standard Minneapolis house is going to be more like your parcel is going to be 40 feet wide or 45 feet wide. So then the house is going to be about 30 feet wide or 28 feet wide. So Bloomington gives you, you're going to get split entries, you're going to get ramblers, you're going to get stuff built in the 1950s. And in my opinion, those houses hold up better than an older house that maybe was built in the 1919 or 1900 or 1890, like a lot of houses in Minneapolis. Now, there's still a lot of great houses in Minneapolis. I live in Minneapolis and I have sold hundreds of houses in Minneapolis, but there's just, because they're so much older, there's chances for things that you're going to have to fix. And when you open up the walls on those old houses, they often have plaster and lath where, you're going to have to, it's harder to fix those things because you're putting sheetrock up. Maybe the 2x6s or the 2x4s they used aren't as square. The foundations have settled more, so the house is kind of sloping in a lot of areas. There's just more chances of that than you see in these newer houses. So Bloomington has, I mean, I like this house. This is nice. You get a big yard and it's 380. Let's look at a different area. Let's go to Minneapolis because I'm talking about Minneapolis a lot. So look at these. So you have a lot of houses in Minneapolis. Now look at the years they were built. 2000, 57, 57, 50, 50, 50, 28, 28, 27, 26, 26, 20, 21, 2017, 1917, 1950, 1912. They still go. 1900, you know. So this actually house is pretty nice. Now at this price range, you're going to see houses that are in better condition when they are older. Like this house has a ton of character. Look at that. You have beautiful hardwood floors. You have this pattern on the outside perimeter with with, I don't know if that's walnut mixed with the maple floors. You have the radiant heat. You have all that character. Look at the wainscoting. You're not going to get that in that new house that was built in 2024 in Cottage Grove, because to put this stuff in, the hardwood floors and the wainscoting, that's going to be so much more expensive. That house is not going to be 400, it's going to be 550 if you're putting all this in. So that is the thing that I do like about the older houses, is that they have that craftsmanship and they have that charm. Now, one thing I just noticed on this, they have a mini split up here and they have a boiler system. Now, the boiler system is nice because it's radiant heat. You're going to feel that heat. And it's not just forced air blowing on you in the winter, it's actually radiating off of these radiators that are big metal cast iron. And that is going to feel kind of like a fireplace would. But you're not going to have central AC. So then you're going to have to get these mini split systems. So that is the thing that I do like about Minneapolis. So the plus and the minus about getting an old house in Minneapolis that was built in 1919 like this one is that you're going to get some of that charm and some of those features like the hardwood floors and the wainscoting and the built-in buffets and the cabinets and all that incredible woodwork. You're going to possibly get that, but it's going to be older. It could have some other issues, versus like in the new construction houses or the newer construction houses, you're going to get something that's brand new, but you're not going to get, those real hardwood floors or the radiant heat or the wainscoting and things like that. One other thing I want to mention is this. Look how wide this parcel is at 37 feet wide compared to that one in Bloomington that we looked at that was like 75 feet wide. So you have neighbors right next to you. If you look out my window right now, there's literally a house 8 feet away from me. And there's a house 8 feet away from me on that side because I live in South Minneapolis. In Bloomington, you're going to have your house, and then you're going to have probably 20 feet possibly on each side before you even get to your neighbor, and you're going to have a bigger backyard. So that is one thing about a lot of the suburbs versus Minneapolis. You're going to be, have more space. Like, look at this. That house is not far away. The property line's probably right there. And this is the property line right here. So if you don't mind that, that's okay. But this house is actually looks really nice. How long has it been on the market? 41 days. So for some reason it hasn't sold yet, but it does have a lot of good features. Let's look at another one. Let's look at this one. So this is built in 1919. This is in Tangletown. So this is in Southwest Minneapolis. Nice area. Swear I've been in this house. So, you're getting real hardwood floors. You're just not seeing that in the newer houses, in the new construction. You will see hardwood floors in the splits in the 1970s. You're going to see hardwood floors pretty much up to the 2000s. You're just going to have more of it. They can be refinished and they can look absolutely beautiful. Like, look at this woodwork. You're not going to see that woodwork as much on the newer houses. So I actually like both. I don't want to make it sound like I don't like the older houses. I'm just saying that you need to pay attention to the possible problems that you get. Now this kitchen has been updated. Look how nice that kitchen is. These are all new countertops, cabinets. They put this little window thing in there right there. It's got looks great. Let's see, how long has it been on the market? 21 days. So it's overpriced. Now it only has a one-car garage. That is a big difference that you're going to see in Minneapolis versus when you go to the suburbs like Cottage Grove, Edina, Bloomington, Richfield, Lakeville. You're going to get two-car garages. That's going to be pretty standard. In Minneapolis, I would say the standard is pretty much a one-car garage. So let's go to St. Louis Park. Okay, so St. Louis Park, you got 1964, 1950, 1940. You're going to have newer houses in St. Louis Park. Here's another split. Now, this one's interesting because it is only a one-car garage. I generally don't like this design as much because, look, you're walking up these steps just to get to the front of the house, and you only get a one-car garage. How long has this house been on the market? 6 days. It's $395. But look you got a big lot here. Look at all those trees. So this house has been remodeled. I mean, I've seen this a lot. These gray hardwood or these gray LVP luxury vinyl plank, but then you got this brown, gray and brown. I don't know. To me, it doesn't really match that well, but that gray was popular forever and people are still using it. I mean, this house already, it's just, and when I talk about year it was built, it all depends on the house specifically because you could have an old house that is great, that is beautiful, that has been well taken care of, that was built in 1900. And you could have a house that was built in 1970s or 1950s, and it could just not be a good design. And like personally, I really don't like this design that much. Um, I don't like the colors they used with that flooring. They did it probably because it was cheap. Um, let's do Woodbury. What do you get in Woodbury? So 1975, 1969, 1965. So this, another split entry. This was built in 1975. This is a four-level split. So this has four levels actually. This has been on the market for 13 days. You got a two-car side attached, which I like actually. You got a bigger parcel. You walk in, you have your living room, you go up a flight of stairs. So this is the entryway, I think. These pictures are really kind of hard. Here you're seeing that kind of gray again. So you have like a upper level half story. So notice though, you're not getting something brand new. You're getting older cabinets. You're getting browns. You're getting this oak. You're getting this older tile. Like this isn't an updated house. Now the house is solid, you know. So see, this is a split. So you look out the basement. You're down in the basement now, and you're looking out. Now there's going to be another basement level, which makes it the four level where you're actually underground, and that is it right there. And you can see because this is the window up there. So do you see the differences? You're seeing how big the parcels are in the suburbs. You're seeing the construction, the style of the house versus in Minneapolis. You're seeing narrower parcels. You're seeing older houses and you're seeing differences in the flooring. Like this has LVP, the other house had hardwood floors. Very rarely do you see somebody cover up real hardwood floors with luxury vinyl plank. They did this on this house because it was probably carpet and it just had 3/4 inch plywood underneath it, and it's cheaper now to put this in than to put hardwood floors in, even though I think most people would agree hardwood floors are better. Let's go to another city. Let's go to what do you get in St. Paul? So St. Paul, you got 1975, 53, 53, 53, 1923, 1922. Let's look at this one, 1888. Let's go look at that one. Wow. So these are cool houses. Like look at the architecture. You look at this porch, look at this handrail. You got a street light right there. Look at these windows and the roof lines and the siding. Like that looks like a cool house, right? It does look like an older house. It's like I think this is the Victorian style. You get that bay window out here and look at all this woodwork. You're just not seeing that. You didn't see that on that new construction. And a lot of times they don't build houses like this right now because all of that would make that more expensive. They will build them, but you're going to pay for it because that's craftsmanship, that's attention to detail, that's design, and all that takes a lot more time and money and skill to find somebody who does that. There's just not many people who know how to do that or have the specific skills to do that. Versus back in 1880, there was a lot of people doing that, and that was how it was. So if you like that style of house, look at here's one thing you have a big retaining wall right here. So you got to make sure that's in good condition. You're on a corner. So this has been updated. Kind of cool. Now, one thing I'll point out is like, look how small that countertop is. I like it when you have an equal space on both sides because I like to cook. But you do have a vent that vents out right there. Butcher block countertops, those can be good, but you like really have to take good care of them because they can get worn down really quickly. So this has hardwood floors. Kitchen's kind of small. And the pictures always look great. They always stand out, but then you actually have to go into the house and see what it's like. Here's an old fireplace. It's not gas, it's original. You got to make sure check those chimneys. A lot of times on these old houses, the chimneys need a lot of work or they need to be repaired, and that can cost like $5,000 or more. This is an older floor. This is like pine. Um, those floors, by the time it's 1880, I mean that house is 130 years old. This thing might not have the greatest insulation. We don't know. You got to kind of dig into the details. The windows, those are single pane windows. Look how big those windows are. To replace those windows, it's going to be very expensive. And so this house probably has high energy bills. Other thing to pay attention to is look at this woodwork. Like see that design in the corners there and the circles and the design in this trim. You don't see that in the newer houses. So that's cool stuff that I like about the older houses. See, look at this doorknob. You get that old doorknob. Big bathroom, interesting sink setup. I think these floors are going to have some issues because see the gaps in the floors, like stuff can get stuck in there, and it's just I kind of like that though. That looks cool. So now you have the basement. Look at this block. You got a furnace. So this doesn't have radiant heat. That other old house had radiant heat. This has forced air. So they probably obviously took that out and they put this in at some point in time. The other thing about these older houses that were built in the 1890s or 1910s, 1920s, typically those basements don't have 7 foot ceilings like you do in the newer houses. Like the new houses, they'll have 8, 9 foot ceilings in the basement. The houses built in the 70s, those generally have at least 7 foot ceilings, which is the legal height for like a bedroom down in the basement. A lot of the stuff in the 1950s, 60s, 40s, that will be under 7 feet tall. So, like, you're not going to be able to put a legal bedroom down there, and you're going to have like not as much headroom, especially if you're trying to finish it off. You're going to have to put the duct work from the furnace on the floor joist, so you're going to lose some height there because you have to put a soffit around it and then sheetrock it. So then you're getting down to like 6 feet in some areas. So that's one difference in the construction. But this house is cool. It is on a corner. In Minneapolis, if you're on a corner, you got the sidewalk on the corner to shovel on this side, and you got it on the front. So that's a lot when it snows out. Just one thing to pay attention to. Let's do one more. Let's do Apple Valley. Yeah, let's do Apple Valley. 1988. Okay, we're noticing a pattern here. Single split entry. But look at the parcel size. It's 80 feet. Five here. Let's go back to that one really quick. Sorry, in Minneapolis. What was the width of that parcel? This one was 46 feet wide, or that one was in St. Paul. How wide was this parcel? 41 feet wide. Okay. Now let's go to this Apple Valley. Apple Valley, 85 feet wide. Now, most of them are about the same width. They're about 130 feet deep. In Minneapolis, you're going to see, 120 to 128 feet deep. But the difference is on these suburban houses, you're going to get a wider parcel as you see. Another split entry. You walk in the living room, or you walk in the entry, you go upstairs to the living room, or you go downstairs to the basement. That's a lookout basement. Remember, you have 4 foot frost walls on the foundation versus 8 foot frost walls on like a house that was built in the 1950s. You're going to go be underground completely in that basement. In this basement, you're going to be like 4 feet underground and then 4 feet above ground. I like this design too. Now look at they don't have real hardwood floors. They put this vinyl in. That's not real hardwood floors, but the ceiling is vaulted. Looks nice. What year was it built? 1988. So it's a newer build. Got an attached garage versus another thing that I should say about that St. Paul house, you have a detached garage. So big difference, detached garages in Minneapolis, St. Paul, attached garages in the suburbs more likely. So if you like having an attached garage, that's a benefit. Okay, I do like this design. What you're not going to see in Minneapolis is you're not going to see a lot of master bathrooms or primary bedrooms with a primary bathroom. You're just not going to get that. You're going to get one bathroom on the main level, maybe if it's a 2 story. And if it's a 2 story, most likely it's not going to have a bathroom on the main level. It's going to have one bathroom upstairs, and everybody's going to share it. Where the houses that are newer, like these split entries, often, if they're at least 3 bedrooms, you had a primary bedroom with a primary bathroom in that bedroom, and that's nice. I like that. And then you also will have another bathroom. This is the bathroom on the main level that the other 2 bedrooms will share. So here's the basement. You have 4 foot frost walls. You look out, you have a window there. I see this often. No windows. No windows on this side of the house. Why not put a window here and put a window here? Unless that's where the garage is. But I see that very often on these new houses or the houses that are split in the 70s and the 80s. And why did they do that? To save money. And then they say, well, I don't want to look at my neighbors. Yeah, well, do you like light? Do you like natural light? It makes a room feel better. There's an architectural principle called light on two sides, where in every house you should have natural light coming in on two sides. I like this though. Look at this porch. Dang, that's a huge deck. That'd be nice. Great for grilling. You got this huge backyard for the kids. It's fenced in. Man, I like that. Um, so I hope this was helpful. We went over the differences between Minneapolis, Apple Valley, Cottage Grove, St. Paul, St. Louis Park, Bloomington. We looked at the different construction methods that were from the 1950s to the 1970s, 1980s, 1920s, 1880s. We saw that in Minneapolis, you get a detached garage, where in the suburbs, you're going to get it attached. There are very few new construction houses at this price point for $400,000, but there are a few out there. The majority of the houses you're going here, let's just figure it out. The majority of the houses, what's the median of all these houses? Let's just do this right now. 1960. Most of the houses are going to be in the suburbs are going to be built in the 1960s. Um, so if this was helpful, comment below. Let me know what you thought about it. If you're looking for a house in Minneapolis or any of these Minneapolis metro suburbs, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. Let me know what you're looking for, and I'd be happy to help you. Like we said, there's 168 of these houses available out of 3,000. That's not a lot. There's really not a lot of houses available, and especially once you break down, hey, I'm only willing to live in certain spots, then you really don't have a lot of options. But the key is being able to look at the whole property, the location, the design of the house, the construction, how much work it needs, where it is, and then everything else that fits into that, like obviously the schools and how close it is to certain amenities. If you have kids and you want to be close to a park or a lake and all that stuff, traffic, all that stuff matters. So, like this video, subscribe to my channel. I provide weekly updates just like this video every single week. And we will see you at the next video. All right. Talk to you later. Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.